Hey folks, so in this video, I want to talk about L&D strategies and the maturity of them. And the way I'm going to do that is actually by using this iceberg illusion image that you see on your screen. It's always been pretty popular on social media, talking about hard work and dedication and career development. But actually, it really closely links to how we should look at learning and development strategies. Because what I have found in my kind of 15, 16-year career is that a L&D strategy is not going to be an overnight success. And just like this image demonstrates, it's all about doing the little things consistently to help change the culture towards your strategy and also to empower and enable behavioral change as well. So what do I mean by that? Let me give you an example. So when I was working for one of the world's kind of leading retailers, we were building a digital learning strategy. And it was the first time the organization had seen anything like this at all. So we knew there would be some resistance in quarters. And we also, from the beginning, set the precedence or the expectation that it would take time. This wasn't going to be a few weeks, a few months, or maybe even a few years. There was a long trajectory here. And what we actually did is looked at this as a 3-year journey. So how can we move the needle from where we are today to where we want to be in that 3-year period? And what we were then doing is focusing on all of these components you see here about, we were persisting, we failed a number of times. There was a number of things we tried out, didn't always work out, but we did the best that we could. But the main things were that we kept doing things that would influence that strategy. So what I mean by that is small things, big things, trying out stuff, not being afraid to fail. And when we did, learning from that to continue on that mission of building that strategy and not wavering from it. And because we don't have that instant gratification of, oh, we've not seen results from it in 6 months, we didn't stop. We kind of kept going, we kept investing, worked with the business to understand that this whole process was a journey and eventually the journey would pay off. It's just that you're not going to see it immediately. And the reason why I share this is because I see this as a downfall of a lot of organizations where they want to implement a modern learning strategy or a digital learning strategy. But what they're expecting is immediate results. They're expecting to build a learning tech ecosystem and they're expecting their people to fundamentally change in 3 months in terms of how they engage, how they perform, and what they're learning. That's just not going to happen. And the way kind of my story ends with this retailer is that actually we started to see the biggest changes and improvements and people starting to adapt to that strategy and having more of a pull from those people instead of us pushing stuff to people in the 3rd year of that journey. So you can see what happened there is that it takes time, but eventually it can pay off. And we have to set those expectations with stakeholders and the business overall, and really look to invest in all of these moments, all of these little things that add up to the big thing. And that you'll find over time by compounding all of this work, you can actually evoke that change. And this is why I recommend to really think about your strategies, not just as what are we going to do in the next few months? Yes, you can do that, of course. You'll look at the next year, but also look at the next 3 to 5 years. So you might work in an organization where, super agile, you need that speed. That's great. You can break that down and focus on those components to understand what do I need to get to now? What are the things we need to service for in this time period? But the strategy itself, in terms of the program of work and how you want to influence your organization in kind of one of my most dreaded words of learning culture, takes time. Building that whole approach, building that success, returning that investment and getting that value will take time. So when you are building your L&D strategies, just keep that in mind, that to manage that instant gratification mechanism that people have and take people on that journey with you to invest in the long term and not the short term. I hope that helps.